Alrighty guys, welcome to our Thursday English lesson for our online learning. Today we are going to be having a look at similes and we'll be having a look at metaphors tomorrow, but we thought we'd break those down just to get a bit more in-depth knowledge of both of those concepts. So we've done them before to do with our persuasive writing, and now we're relating them to our poetry. Okay, so today we are learning to identify and explain similes in a poem so that we can analyze the figurative language in the poem. So we need to understand what similes are so that when we come across one, we can understand what it means and the author's intention with that. Today we will be successful if we can explain what a simile is, find similes in a poem, and create our own similes relating to a poem. Let's see how we go. Having a quick look at the definition of similes here, it says that a simile is when you say something is like something else. Okay, so it's not saying it is something else, it's saying it is just like another thing. So having a look at the old person here, it says granddad is wise like an owl. So they've used the word like there to give that comparison. Obviously we know he's not an owl, but it's saying he is like an owl. He has the same sort of qualities as an owl because owls are seen to be as wise. Having a look over here at the ballerina, it says she is as graceful as a swan. So it's not saying she is a swan, it's saying she is as graceful as a swan, because we know that swans are something that are categorically graceful animals. Okay, so here you can see that you can use the word like to do this, or you can use the word as to compare to make a simile. So we'll be having a look at both examples later on. Alrighty guys, so we're going to have a look now to see if we can find a simile in this poem. So we already know what a simile is, and we are now looking for them in the poem. Knowing what a simile is, what do you think could be some words that we could look for? So instead of reading this whole poem again, what are some keywords that we could look for to find similes a lot faster? Okay, so we're going to be looking for the words like or as. Let's have a quick look through. I'm going to underline all the words that say like or as, and we'll see if they're similes. Okay? From my window, I can see where the Santa stood in front, so I can see just a small slip, curving like a crescent moon, yet a clear bright, like up, and not a card goes by. Oh, it's just this one's like up. Okay, so what I have found here is I have found two examples of the use of the word like. Okay, because we know that a simile could have as pretty as a princess, using the word as, or we could have as, oh no, tough like an albatross. I don't know if albatrosses are tough, but we'll see. Okay, so here we've got the use of like a. Let's have a read of those lines to see if these are similes. Curving like a crescent moon. So we need a little bit more context here because we don't know what she was saying is curving. So one far glimpse of open sea, just a slender slip curving like a crescent moon. So what she's saying here is she's saying that the open sea is curved like a crescent moon. Obviously we know the sea is not the moon, so this is an example of a simile. Looking over here as well, it says like a jewel polished well. Again, we need a little bit more context. Knowing the purpose of this poem, we could probably assume that she's talking about the ocean again, but let's have a look around to just double check. All its changes, who can tell? I have seen it shine. So she's just using pronouns there. We need to have a look back further to see what she's talking about. Yeah, so she's talking about the sea. So she can see the sea. She has seen it shine like a jewel. So again, she's not saying, just like we were talking about yesterday with this one, she's not saying that the sea is made of jewels. She's saying that the sea is like a jewel because it is shiny, like a polished jewel. Okay? Pretty simple. So we've found some similes there. We're going to have a look at the activity that you guys need to do now to create your own similes to add detail. Okay, so we've just had a look here and we have found some similes in this poem. We have ticked off finding similes in a poem. Now we need to have a look at creating our own similes to add detail. So let's have a look at what your activity is going to be for today. Alrighty, so this is going to be our activity. It's called Smashing Similes. Woohoo! The instructions are at the top here. It says, see how many similes you can think of to describe and compare different things. Okay, so I'm going to do the first one, then we might do this one together, and then I'm going to get you to do the rest on your own, and that is all that we need to do today. Okay, it says, the boy ran like Okay, so we're using the word like here in our simile because we know similes have either like or as. The boy ran, I'm going to say he ran slowly. And then I need to think of something that runs slowly. So the boy ran slowly like a snail. Awesome. And I just accidentally, but I have added alliteration here because both of these start with the same sound. Obviously that's not a requirement, but when we are using similes in a poem, that would be a good way to do it. Okay, so that's an easy way to add a little bit of alliteration in there. Let's have a look at the next one. The coins shone as Okay, so we need to think of something that a describing word for shone. So how can something shine? Things can shine brightly. Things can shine brightly. Brightly. Should we add brightly in here? Okay, the coins shone brightly as a, what is something that can shine brightly? So have a quick think. Ooh, I have an idea. I think they shone brightly like a star, because stars are the brightest and shiniest things that I can think of right now. This one does not have alliteration. Is there any way that we can change this to make it have alliteration, just so we're practicing that skill? Brightly was the only word I could think of for this one, so we're going to have to change this to be something that starts with a B, or a burr sound. As a burr. Nope. I don't have any ideas. Do you have any ideas? Send me an email. Any word that is something that can shine brightly that starts with a burr. That would be a great thing to hear from you. Okay, what I want you to do now is I want you to have a look and do the rest of these on your own. So, how did Jessie swim? The giant laughed as loud as, so they've already got loud. You've just got to have another word here to say how loudly they laughed. Doing the rest of these, and at the bottom, it wants you to write your very own sentence. I'm going to challenge you, since there are 2 lines here, to write 2 similes there. Another challenge for bonus points is how many of these can you have that use alliteration and still make sense? Because we are using this for a poem, and alliteration is another one of those poetic devices that we want to see you guys using. So, when you are done filling out this, look back, see if you can add any more alliteration, then take a photo and send it through to me. Also,